The opinions expressed in this podcast are those of the speakers and not of DoD or any of its components.
Take me to the countryside. Gotta get out of these city lights. Drinking my cup, got me feeling right.
All right, man. That was a bit of a pain in the ass to get hooked up tonight. It's all good, though. All right, bro. What's happening?
Episode 2.
We about to make some money or what, man?
Yeah, we're about to make some cash.
All right, dude. That sounds super loud in my headphones. I don't know if it sounded that loud to you.
Sounded refreshing.
Yeah, man. Little Jocko Go. You know what I mean?
I got some Coyote cold brew. I don't know. That's what they sell us here at our office complex. So
yeah, dude. A little bit of caffeine at midnight. Let's do this. I'm ready. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, whatever.
All right. Before we get started,
I know what you're about to say.
Yeah, dude, it was bad, right?
It was real bad. My wife was like, "Can you try not to cuss so much this time?" I was like, "Yes."
Yeah. I apologized to my mom, like real. She was like, it would be nice if your nieces and nephews could watch these sometimes. I was like, well, not that one, man. Not that one. So
look, it's gonna get buried. It's gonna get buried down in the video list in the gallery, on your channel. Nobody's gonna go back and watch the first episode. So it's all good.
Yeah, I'm not sweating it, dude. It is what it is, right? So
get the F-bombs, the marbles out of our mouth.
Dude, I was telling my boy, I was like, when I put out episode 2 on Monday, like I told him, I was like, man, I'm not kidding. The first 3 words out of my mouth were the F word. Like F, well, effing. I was like, all right, dude. So not this time. Anyways, all right. Yeah, so we're good.
I told my wife, I was like, look, I forgot it was going on like the internet, I forgot that I'm not just hanging out with my homie,
Yeah. Oh, it's on the internet like public on the internet. So whatever, dude. Yeah, forever. All right, dude. So let me tell you something, man. We got some good feedback, man, on our episode. Yeah, man. I think people really liked it. I think that we've got some things to work on as far as like the quality. I mean, it took us 30 minutes to get this thing hooked up, so we'll try that Riverside FM maybe like on an off day when we can try to like work out the kinks. I think that's a good thing to do, but once we get some of the quality really nailed down, I think the content with ours is going to really take off, dude. It's good stuff. So
yeah, what's not to like? We're likable guys,
I'm saying, man. Once we get our hats, we got like matching hats on.
I know. I didn't. My Texan Connection is going to be in today, but not till the mail run. So I got my Astros on.
It's all good. You know what, man? I almost wore my. I've got a Texans hat, Houston Texans hat. I looked at it and I was like, man, fuck them. I was like, they're trash. I'm not wearing that.
Trash.
So, anyways, all right, man. So, I'm going to do an intro, like, to really talk about what we're going to talk about. But I think we kind of want to talk about crypto this episode, right?
Yes.
Yeah, dude. You're like, dude.
That's why we talk.
Dude, I got my phone right here, right? I've had it on PooCoin.app, like on refresh, like 1 minute refresh.
Where they come up with these names, bro?
PooCoin.
Yeah.
297. I mean, it's trying to climb back up, right?
It just hit 299, but we'll get into that.
All right. Anyways, so I feel like I know exponentially more than I did 2 weeks ago, but I still feel like I know absolutely nothing about crypto, dude.
Yeah. Well, that's a big bucket to sift through, right? It goes deep, right? And I mean, I don't even know where to start. I'm gonna assume people watching this have zero knowledge of crypto, right?
Yep.
So let's just start with the basics, right? Blockchain.
Yeah.
What the hell is a blockchain, right?
Right.
Blockchain is a ledger system, right? So, um, the function that banks normally serve is, when facilitating transactions between two people, right? They say, okay, this person wants to send this person money. This person has the money. This person wants the money, right? This person sends the money. It goes over here, it comes through. We verify, yes, they sent $100, right? Then we verify the other person's account. It goes over there. We verify they received the $100. Okay, the ledger gets updated, plus, minus, right? That's a very simplified form of ledger, right?
Right.
Blockchain is the same thing, right? It takes care of that accounting problem, but it does it in groups, blocks of transactions, right? And in order for it to be a trustless system where you don't have a centralized authority in the middle of the two people, it utilizes networks, right? Networks being multiple nodes set up all over the place. Could be hundreds, could be thousands, whatever.
Right.
Each of those nodes on the network has a copy of the ledger, right? An exact copy, real time. So as transactions are happening, when you hear people say, I'm mining Bitcoin or I'm mining Ethereum or whatever, what they're doing is they're running nodes on that network. And it's a very complex and computational heavy math problem that has to get solved in order to verify all those transactions going back and forth. And it's kind of like a lottery system. It just kind of goes out randomly to each node on the network, and whoever solves the problem, right, whoever solves the transaction problem gets rewarded in whatever the underlying utility token is, whether it's Bitcoin or ETH or whatever it is, right? Because it takes power consumption and hardware and like real world cost in order to run that network, right? So
they're bearing the load, like
they're bearing the load,
right? And so then they are being rewarded for bearing that load, whether it's electricity or space or whatever logistical thing they have to do to be able to process that, right?
Right. But what makes it secure is the decentralized nature of it, right? If you have a bank that's doing all that transaction computation, right, and updating the ledger and everything, a hacker only has to hack one entity, right? And take control over that one entity in order to start bad acting. With a blockchain decentralized network, you may have thousands of nodes, right? And all of them have the same copy of the same ledger being updated in real time. So you would literally have to be able to take over like 51% of all of the nodes out there, which is like impossible, pretty much. I mean, nothing's impossible, but it's very, very unlikely with the computation resources we have today.
Right. Yeah.
Now, once quantum computers enter the mix, like that throws a whole monkey wrench into everything. Who knows?
Yep.
But yeah, so you can't take over. It would be immediately spotted. It would be like, oh, whoa, this node over here has got an inaccurate, and nullify that, right? And it gets kicked out. So that's blockchain in essence, right? And there's multiple blockchains, and just think of blockchain as a network-based ledger, right? So there's multiple blockchains. You got Bitcoin, you have Ethereum, you have Polygon, you have Solana, you have the Binance Smart Chain, right? These are all blockchains.
So those blockchains, okay, so you've got different currencies. I guess when people think about crypto, right, of course they know Bitcoin. If they're a little more savvy, they probably have heard of Ethereum. Because of the news, they probably heard of like Doge and like some of the ones that blew up out of nowhere and like, what? It's a meme? What? Like, you know what I mean? And then like, so do each of those, are those tokens, are those blockchains, or some combination of both? Does that make sense?
So that's a good question, and it segues into what is Ethereum, right?
Yeah.
So Ethereum combines blockchain with functionality, right? Because Bitcoin is a blockchain, like literally all you can do is send tokens here, receive tokens there. You can't do anything else with it, right? It's like a store of value, right? It's like gold, right? It's like you can't,
right.
Can't
do
anything with it, right?
Right.
So Ethereum, it combines blockchain. It is a blockchain, but he wrote the Ethereum virtual machine, which allows smart contracts to come into the picture. Smart contracts being if-then statements, right?
Right.
If the Texans win, you owe me $100,
Mm.
right?
Right. Yeah.
We all know I ain't getting $100, but whatever.
No.
So
Not a fucking chance.
yeah,
Anyway.
not a chance.
Yeah.
But anyway, I digress. So that's a smart contract, right? It's got logic built into it, and you can get complex with the building blocks of logic. I mean, this can go into insurance, it can go into legal contracts, it can go into any, you know, contract or logic-driven relationship, right?
Right.
And it also allows the minting of ERC20 tokens, which is ERC20 is just a standardization for the type of token.
Yeah.
But that's what like all these tokens you're hearing about are, right? People just are able to create tokens. They are a smart contract in and of themselves. They may not have much logic given to them, but they're built on top of the Ethereum network, right?
Okay. Yeah.
And so that's given way to a lot of innovation and a lot of use case type things that have come along. But the problem with Ethereum is they haven't solved their scaling issues, and their gas fees are sky high, right? We talked about
Right. Yeah.
network the fees that are paid to miners, right? There's also what's called gas fee that has to be paid into the network when you do a transaction that helps facilitate the movement of all that money,
Right.
because there's all those problems having to be solved to mine each block. So yeah, the gas fees are sky high. I mean, like
Anything I've read about Ethereum in particular, like that's kind of the first thing that they say is that Ethereum and gas fees are like ridiculous, kind of. Right.
Yeah, like, and at peak times, when a lot of people are on the network, they go higher, and in the middle of the night, when nobody's on the network, they go lower. So there is some strategy around like when you put transactions through or whatever, but in essence, they're really high, and it's a problem. It's a problem they've been working on for a few years now, getting Ethereum like version 2 come out. There's what's called layer 2, which is like a whole nother explanation. It's basically transactions that get bundled up outside of the blockchain and then get put into the blockchain so that it's like one transaction, but it's holding. It's like an exponential, like a secondary degree of a blockchain, right?
Right.
And so it's not happening on chain. So the transaction fee, say it was like $60. If there's 1,000 transactions in this block on layer 2,
Right.
that $60 is getting divided by 1,000, basically. So
Okay.
it becomes,
Yeah.
becomes really cheap to run layer 2, but yeah. So I mean, like I said, it's a deep conversation that can go, and I mean it's why I tell people we're still in like the first inning of the pregame season,
Right.
Like it hadn't even gotten to mass adoption yet, not even close.
Yeah.
I mean, it's getting there. Actually, I read some stats. I don't have them off the top of my head, but it's getting there.
Right.
And I think in the next 5 to 10 years, money will be different.
It just feels like that it's there, and I think everybody knows it's there. And by the way, our kids call us boomers, right? And I try to explain to them. I'm like, can you stop for a second? Like, do you know what that word means? And they're like, yeah, I don't want a history lesson. I was like, it's baby boomers and World War II and like, whatever, boomer. I'm like, it drives me crazy, right? But you just kind of accept it, right? And so I guess, like, I think people probably our age, so really, Gen X, right? Like Gen X folks and into millennials, like we're the ones that are either already deep in it or are like ready to put our toe into it. Like, okay, I got to see what's going on here, or I'm going to get like passed up if I don't. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely a convergence is happening right now. You're starting to see, my friend Cody, he's a software engineer. He's who got me into Ethereum back in 2016, 17, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Because he explained the mechanics behind the underlying technology, right?
Yeah.
And that's what got me excited, right? I give two shits about Dogecoin or this or that. I mean,
Right.
it's glorified gambling right now, right? Like it's literally like speculative magic,
super
internet
speculative,
money.
right?
You know, let's just ape in and throw whatever we can in
Yeah,
there.
it's the
like,
Wild West a
the
little
moon,
bit,
baby, right? Like, and that's like that's not what it's about, man. Like
right?
looking back, you know, in 10, 15 years, I don't think much of that is going to exist anymore because in order for this to really have teeth and like really take hold of our, you know, financial system and our monetary policy, it's got to be regulated.
Right. Yeah.
Regulation. I mean, we don't live in an unregulated world, nor will we ever. Right. Like that's not going to happen. Right.
Yeah.
There's always going to be regulations. And once the regulators, and it's really a hard problem to solve because literally the nature of cryptocurrency and blockchain and all this stuff is you can't regulate it. Like unless you turn off the internet, you can't shut it down.
Right.
Like,
The point of it is
right?
to be free of regulation in the sense that some government can't regulate it. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
But in order for it to live in the real world and be able to take over, right? There's going to have to be some consensus in the world that we're going to abide by these rules, right? We're going to follow the regulation, right? And maybe there will always be this like underbelly of money, right? Where, you know, you're just free to do whatever you want. But in order for it to be, you know, accepted for mortgages and accepted for cars, accepted for insurance and all that stuff, like there's going to be regulatory framework that has to be created and adhered to, right?
Yeah.
So
because it's pretty, you know, correct me if I'm wrong, but there's very few countries that recognize it as a currency per se, right? And then your ability to actually, I guess, spend that currency exists primarily online in kind of niche situations, right?
Yeah, for the most part, you know, if you're talking about the macro view right now, but I mean, there's countries like El Salvador which literally made Bitcoin their currency.
Yeah,
that's their national currency, I believe. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure they did that, right?
Yeah,
and who knows, man? Like it's one of those things. I mean, look what's happening in Ukraine right now, right? You got bank runs going on in Russia. You got Ukrainians that can't. I mean, their shit's shut down, right? So it's literally saving lives right now because it's the only form of currency they can access.
Right.
And like I said, unless you shut the internet down, like you can't stop the flow of it, right? You can't. You just the cat's out of the bag.
So as long as you have access to the internet, then you have access to whatever repository of currency that you know exists for a person in a state, right? I mean, that's a good point, right? I mean, you saw Elon Musk, like, you know, sent Starlink terminals to Ukraine, right? It's crazy that it's not crazy. I mean, it's almost normal now, but if you think back to like 20 years ago, right? That number one, not to get into like the political situation regarding that war that's going on, because it's atrocious what's happening over there, first of all, right?
Yeah.
But just, you know, I think that the idea of, you know, the first 3 days of the war, right? And the first kind of big story that happened was, I'm going to help restore internet access to this country as a humanitarian effort, right?
Yeah.
You know, like that.
Our world relies on it now.
Absolutely, right? Like without
power grids.
Yeah.
Power grids, emergency response. I mean, there's everything's tied to the internet, right?
Right.
And like there was talk from the World Economic Forum, you know, before COVID hit, they ran through a simulation and they, you know, did this whole scenario based exercise. It was literally exactly what played out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And whatever, read into that whatever you will.
Right.
But there was also talk of another exercise that they're doing where a virus infiltrates, you know, the internet, and they got to bring the whole internet down to administer a vaccine. Like, these are their exact words. Like, how are you going to administer a vaccine to the internet? Whatever, man. Boomers, right?
It doesn't make sense. I don't get it.
You got 70-year-old dudes talking like, "Oh, we're gonna cleanse the internet." Like, shut the hell up, man. Anyway, you know, it sparked a conversation with me and my wife. Like, you know, if they take the internet down, right? Like, what knowledge do we have as adults operating in this world, right? Like 100 years ago, people lived off the land. They can make food, they can make medicine,
Absolutely,
they could
man.
do whatever they needed to do, right?
Yep.
And all that knowledge exists in books or
Right.
existed in their head, was passed down generationally, right?
Right.
Now people take out their cell phone and they got to Google it, right? They're like, I don't know, let me Google it real quick. Well, if the internet comes down, there's an entire world out there that has zero knowledge of how to survive.
That's
right?
crazy, isn't it? It's true, though.
Yeah.
It's absolutely true, right?
So we started thinking, I mean, shit, I bought some books and, you know, just stocked up on some general knowledge. I hadn't read them yet, probably won't ever, but, you know, time comes and I need them, be like,
well, it's nice to have, it's nice to have leather-bound books that smell of rich mahogany, you know, it's
yes.
Yeah.
So anyway, you know, the Starlink thing, like, you know, because we started thinking, like, I mean, you know, they could take the internet down if they really wanted to.
There is for sure.
There is a button that they could push.
There's an off switch. There's an off switch. Yeah.
But with things like Starlink, right, that becomes a little bit more decentralized. Right. And I think as technology progresses and as time goes on, more and more things will become decentralized because the value of the security that lies in centralization will become more apparent to more people over time. Yeah.
And I think there's more opportunity in decentralization, right? You know, and it really becomes, I know I'll speak for myself, right? It kind of speaks to that American spirit, right? That like my own initiative and ingenuity, truly in a decentralized kind of economy or construct, like, you know, my abilities and my initiative, my intuition, my intelligence, all these things like become more and more important because there's not this framework that could prevent me from navigating it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You know, so
it's funny, you know, it's just ironic to think that, you know, as Americans, we live in this construct of freedom, right? This sometimes illusion of freedom, right? And decentralization, our ability to do whatever we want, however we want, and be, you know, the consequences will be whatever they're going to be, right? Like that. Right. It doesn't exactly tier up the hierarchy of civilization the same way, right? But it's becoming more and more like that, and I think we'll see a continuation of that. Yeah. Because money, you know, money runs the world, right? Like
100%.
And so the decentralization of money, I think, was the fuse that got lit for that continuation to even be possible, right? Once you free up people's ability to be financially independent of any centralized governing body, you kind of free up their ability to be free of anything, really.
The same thing. Yeah.
You know, throw a dart on the globe and figure out where you want to go live, and you know, you're good. As long as they got Starlink, you're fine. You know,
that's a good point, man. Yeah, I think it's definitely interesting. You know, even just this last week, as you and I have kind of been going back and forth with this kind of little venture that we're looking at, right? Like, it's exciting, man. I told you, man, I was sitting there like looking at different things. If you were to, I sent you a picture on my notepad, right? And like I felt like Russell Crowe in A Beautiful Mind, man. You know, like I saw the numbers. I almost pulled out like a grease pencil and started writing on my window. You know what I mean? I was like, I see it all happening, like ladders, layers, you know, double up. You know, then you're like, oh, dude, I don't think it works that way. I was like, God damn it, back to the drawing board.
Yeah, man, these cats that figure these things out and create these protocols, like the Animal Farm and whatever, you know. There's some smart dudes, and it's all math, right? It's mathematicians that are running this shit, right? It's not businessmen. It's mathematicians. It's the guys from, you know, this dude, like when he gets on live, right? He sounds like Donkey Lips from Salute Your Shorts. You're all like, I'm like, dude, this guy's gonna change the world. This is the guy, right? All right, cool.
100%, man. Yeah, that's awesome, dude. Yeah, I'm so that thing is launching in about 15 minutes. He said no kidding, 11, right?
Yeah, they're live right now talking about it, but
Oh yeah.
I'm not too caught up in the live, right? Because the way we did our things, we're holding a bag of
Right.
tokens, right? So we
Yeah.
need to wait for that to go back
Yeah,
up
I gotta
before we.
wait for that thing to shoot up a little bit, right? Yeah,
But
so I guess man, if I were I still have this question, right?
yeah,
So it's easy for me to understand like the value, I guess the value of the valuation of a coin, right? Or if we were to say Bitcoin, right? Like,
sure,
um, its value is going to change inevitably, right? It's going to go up and down,
right.
almost like the markets, right?
Right.
Um, I guess what impacts that though, right? Like how does
Supply and
a
demand.
okay, right. And so
Absolutely.
like Bitcoin is there's a set number. Do I know that? Like I've heard that, I think, right? Like there's a set
Yeah, it's
number.
21 million, I believe, that can even be in existence. So it's got a finite supply, right? No more
Right.
will ever be created.
Right. And so that's, so it's like you said, it's almost like gold in that sense, right? That the value is assigned based on, I guess, how it gets traded and bought and sold. And
Right.
um,
it's a deflationary asset, right?
right. Okay. So then are all of them like that or no?
No.
Right.
No.
I
Uh
know you explained Ethereum has got its different function, right? But
right.
um,
Yeah, so certain tokens, so when you hear deflationary versus inflationary, right? Inflationary means that more will be printed, just like our
okay.
dollar, right? They
Yep.
create it out of thin air.
Yep.
Deflationary is there's a fixed finite supply, and over
Okay.
time, it will deflate and the value will continue to rise because there's
Right.
no more being created to drive the value down,
Right.
right?
Okay.
Um, but in answer to your first question, what drives the fluctuation of the value is supply and demand, right? And
Mm,
that's a core fundamental like concept of what drives these values. Because my dad even had, he had problems when I was trying to explain it to him years ago. He was
yeah.
like, because he's used to thinking, and a lot of people are used to thinking of the value of, especially when it's share when you think of shares, like
Right.
right,
Yeah.
like
Right.
fractional pieces of something, right?
Yeah.
Um, the value is driven by the value that a company is creating in the world, right?
Right.
He's like, "What's the company?" There's no company, Dad. Like, well, what value is it creating? It's not.
Yeah.
It's what you're willing to pay for it, and I hold it, right? And
Right.
if I'm holding a big bag of something and I dump it on the market and I sell it, right? It's just like a stock, right? When you sell stocks, it puts downward pressure on the price of it.
Right.
It's the same thing with tokens, right? It's just these are super thinly capitalized assets, right?
Hmm.
Like, you might have a market cap of $5 million.
Right.
Well, I mean, you know, most publicly traded companies have market caps of like $100 billion, or
Right. Yeah.
like a lot, right?
Right. So
And
it's
so
it's it's rare is not the word I'm looking for. It's
scarcity,
scarce, right? It's scarce. And so something that's scarce, people won't. I mean,
right?
it's
And
good to have it,
if it's
right?
something that there's a low supply of, or it's scarce, there's a low market cap on it, right?
Right.
If you have a market cap of $5 million and someone goes and sells $1 million worth of it,
Right.
it's going to have a huge impact on the price,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
20% of the volume or the value,
Right.
that entire entity, whatever it is you're talking about,
Yeah.
just got sold, right? So
Right.
like the price is going to go like
Right. Right.
real
Right.
fast,
Right. Yeah. It's
right?
just like selling off, right? I mean, not
But
the same, but
if you got $100 billion of the same, asset on the market, and someone
right.
sells $1 million of it, it's going to go dink, like
Right.
it's not going to move, right? Um,
Okay. So that's one reason why you see that's one reason why they're so volatile is because
yes,
they are such a thinly held asset that the smallest sell off creates a huge impact to the value essentially, right?
right, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, like we hadn't gone into it, but take Animal Farm, right?
Right.
One of the underlying tokens of Animal Farm is pigs, right?
Right.
So there's 60,000 people in the Telegram channel for the Animal Farm.
Right.
I'm gonna say there's probably 75 or 80 total that are like in that system.
Mm-hmm.
80,000 people out of 7 billion people in the world, right?
Right.
That's nothing, right?
Nothing.
So like that is a super tight, capitalization level, so that when these moves are happening, it's because it's not taking much to move the needle, right? Because it's a new.
There's not a lot of people. Yeah.
Not a lot of people in it. It's the pool is very small.
Right.
And so when that pool gets bigger, it gets harder to make waves in it, right? But you're in a little kiddie pool and you splash, water's going to go over the side, right?
Yeah.
You're in an Olympic pool and you splash, ain't doing nothing, right? It's not even reaching 10 feet, right? Same kind of concept, right? So
then the more people come in the pool, the higher I should say the larger the value of the pool, because they contributed their assets to that pool, which makes the value of that amount of pigs, in this case, increase, essentially, right? Because that token is based on that pool. Am I getting that right?
Yeah. So think of it as, there's a reason they call it liquidity, and there's a reason they call it pools, because it functions very much like water, right?
Yeah.
So think of it as a tiny little kid pool that gets started when something launches, right? And you got a water hose stuck into it.
Yep.
The water coming through is people's money, right? And it's coming through and it's filling up the pool. Eventually you need a bigger pool, right? So as more money comes in, imagine that kiddie pool just automatically expanding, right? And the bigger the pool gets and the more money that flows in, the less effect that stream of money is having.
Right.
And the less effect each droplet of water is happening. When it's a tiny little cup, each drop matters, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't change the size of a water drop, right? The size of a water drop stays the same.
Right.
But when you get to ocean size, those drops ain't doing nothing as they come in the pool, right? It's just continuing to build.
But in our case, right? So, I mean, spoiler alert, Matt and I are messing around with a little venture. Okay, let's put it out there. We may not talk about this episode, or maybe I don't give a damn, right?
We're collecting data, right? We don't want to obviously we're not financial advisors. You shouldn't do anything. We're just going to tell you about what we're doing, and you got to make your own decision on what you're going to do. But we'll release more details as it goes on. I feel, even though I'm not giving people advice, I at least need to have good data before I even put it out there, because the last thing I want someone is hearing this episode and being like, to the moon, maybe, and
Let's
they just
do
go,
this.
dumping their life savings, and it doesn't work out, right? I don't want that. So
I was telling you, man, I watched I don't know, it just felt appropriate, man. I watched Wolf of Wall Street before you got on this call, because I knew they were going to go live, right? And I've been sitting around trying to figure out fucking rocket science all day, right? I was like, man, I'm going to watch.
Pontificating.
I've been pontificating all day. So I was like, I'm gonna watch some Wolf of Wall Street, man. Give me hype, And then
I'm not leaving.
Yeah, there's a funny story about that, actually, man. So when I was on the ship, I ended up transferring pretty quickly because I had to fill these orders, right? But anyways, the Chiefs, we had watched Wolf of Wall Street in the Chiefs mess, and one of the guys was like, dude, you won't do that. Like, an all hands call on the flight deck, all 300 folks out there, right? We have all hands call once a week, and I usually stand up, I say whatever, right? And they all knew that I had orders and that I was leaving, but there was some question if I was going to leave in a couple months, or if I was going to leave real soon, in a couple weeks, right? And he was like, you won't do that. And I was like, shit, yes, I will. So I gave him the microphone, I stood up, and I was like, I'm not leaving. All the sailors like, what? It's like, I'm not fucking leaving. Everybody was like, yeah. And then I left a week later. So that's not good. Yeah. So that's good shit. But anyways, but yeah, man. So
wait, speaking of shows, save that thought. But I want to interlude here.
Yeah.
Have you watched the Kanye documentary?
I saw it on. I saw it on Netflix.
So your W1R the other day talked about dreams. The one before that talked about goals, right?
Yep.
Bro, I don't care what you think about Kanye, right? I don't really care for him as a
Yeah.
public figure, right?
Yeah.
His ego was just like,
Yeah.
but man, that dude knew his dreams were gonna become reality, like at 10 years old,
Mm.
right? Like he believed, right?
Yeah.
And that's what it takes, man. Like if you're gonna achieve goals, if you're gonna go after dreams, you have to be delusional in your belief of you're gonna be able to achieve that, right? If you have a dream and a goal and you're like, I mean, that'd be cool if I could do that one day, but that's
Right.
probably not gonna happen. That will never happen, right? It will never happen, right? Unless some universal, interference happens and, it just works out, but like it's not gonna happen, right?
Yep.
And this guy got told no. Everybody thought he was just a producer, a beat maker, right? Like
Yeah.
nobody would let him on the mic. Nobody
Right.
would let him do what he told people he was gonna do.
Right.
And it took him years, man. It took him
Mm.
years of grinding it out, locking himself in rooms, making beats for people to sell, to earn enough money to continue his path. And like I respect the hell out of him for that, right? Like
Yep.
and to be able to achieve the level of success, influence, not even financially speaking, just in order to get to
Yeah.
where he always believed he would get,
Yeah.
it takes an incredible amount of drowning out the noise and not listening to your haters, right? Like you brought
Yeah.
them up.
Yep.
You can't, right? Like
Yeah.
those are people that are not aligned with your interest, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Even if they have good feedback, even if it's things you can learn from,
Yeah.
those are not people that are aligned with the outcome of your goals, right?
Yeah, dude.
And so, anyway,
I know that's awesome, dude. I mean, I told you, I think last week, man. I mean, it was the crypto thing, but it was also, I mean, I'm taking a decent chance starting a podcast, right? Like
Sure.
speaking of haters and everything, being on active duty, and I'm being pretty open with the things that I'm talking about. I'm not, it's not like very rigid and structured like you would think that it should be, right? And so my point is that, and I told you this, when I told you I was going to start it, I was like, hey man, I want you to, I want to do the Texan Connection. It's going to be like a recurring part of it. And then it's this weird thing, man. And I don't know what happened, or maybe I just started paying attention. Maybe I started listening, but I kind of felt like, I'm aligning with the universe, right? Like I'm allowing it to happen,
right.
I'm not holding myself back kind of thing. Right. And, I mean, you and I have both been pretty damn successful. If we look at it, right, we're 40, we're 41, right? 40, 41?
In a few days, actually.
That's right.
5 days.
Be 41, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, you look at it, we've done pretty well, right? Beautiful families, financially, stable, but just like you said, I want more, and I don't want more because I'm greedy. Like I feel like there's this next thing that I'm not there yet, man. Yeah. And I'm not gonna hold myself back from it. I'm not gonna let anybody else hold me back from it either, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's 100%, dude. Now I'm gonna watch it, right? Because Kanye's a little off his rocker, but like you talk about somebody that believes in himself.
When you see where he started, right? Because it starts like way back before college dropout. Like I'm talking like when he was just like a teenager, basically. And it's his friend Cootie that films all this and actually made the documentary and narrates it. It's not Kanye.
Yeah.
So you get a little bit of outside perspective on what's happening, and it's just really interesting to watch. And then they haven't released the later episodes where he gets like way off his rocker, and like starts going way crazy, right? Like the last episode I watched, I think it was the second one, like it ended with him winning the Grammy, right? Where he gave his Grammy speech and all that stuff. So, and then it starts. They give you some preview scenes from the next one, but yeah, man, like if you're not striving for more, if you're not doing more, like what are you even doing, right? Like what, like, and
I mean,
my goal is never. I mean, sure, I want to be financially secure, and I want to like have my family not want for anything,
Yeah.
Not be worried about this month or payroll or that. You know, I don't want to have financial worries, right? That's my goal financially, to be financially independent.
Yep.
What I really care about, and like I have a lofty goal with the software we're creating, and what we talked about last time. Like we're gonna change insurance, right? I'm putting it out there. Like we're gonna change the way insurance claims work and the way insurance policies are written. This has a completely upstream cause and effect thing to it, and like who am I, right? Like I've never even worked in the insurance writing. It doesn't matter, right? I see a problem that needs to be solved, and there ain't a person on this earth that's going to tell me I can't do it. And I'll go broke trying. I don't care. Like
that's awesome.
It's a problem that needs to be solved, and I have the knowledge set on this side of the line to do something about it, right? I don't care if it takes freaking 10 years, man. Like that's what I'm gonna be working on.
And you got talent. You got talented people on your team that can help you.
I have an incredible team.
Yeah,
absolutely. Right. I got the vision. Right. I got people on my team that also share the vision. I got people on my team that have the skill sets that I don't have to make it come to reality. Right. And it's all about right. Like, you know, the coach doesn't win the championship. The team wins the championship. But the coach has to have the vision and the discipline and the ability to steer the team into believing that they can do it, right?
That's right.
And so that's where I see myself, right? And I ain't the one that's going to make it happen, but I'm going to be the one steering the ship. So
I'll tell you, man, like as I think about this 20 plus years that I've done in the Navy, you know, like what skill set did I gain? And from a technical standpoint at this point, not much, right? Like I'm not an electrician or electronics guy. I'm not, you know, I mean, I was an admin guy, right? But you talk about like building teams and
you're a sharpened leader.
Exactly, right? Like building teams and setting them on a path and motivating them and giving them the tools they need for success. Like, I do that shit. I do that shit all day, man. Like that's my bread and butter, right? You know, and I think that but the funny thing is, like, you know what I was looking at when I woke up this morning? Like I was flipping through my phone. I was looking at Airstream fucking or like toe behind. In my mind, man, like when I retire, like, I can lead the hell out of some teams, man. But you know what I want to do? I want to drive around the country and do podcasts. Like I want to drive to where my friends are in my, like, hey man, have you seen my Airstream? I've got it set up for the podcast. Like, come on in, man. We'll knock it out and we'll drink some beers, you know? Like that sounds amazing to me. You know what I mean? So I don't know.
I'm gonna do voiceovers. That's my retirement plan. Man, our dog Carl has about he's got about 6 different personalities that I narrate. So,
nice, dude.
But I don't know what I'm gonna do when I retire. But
have you heard of Tony Baker?
No,
I think it's Tony Baker. Hold on, man. I don't like picking up my phone during this shit, but I'm going to. Is it Tony Baker or Tony? It's got to be Tony Baker because it's not Tony Parker. He was the guy that played for the Spurs. Yeah, Tony Baker, man. So he makes the best animal voiceovers I've ever seen in my life. I had to unfollow him because he's a little too woke for me. I'm just gonna keep it 100, right? Like there's some other stuff that I was just, I can't do it. It's too political. But it was almost worth it for the cat videos, man. I was like, because his cat videos are like next level, dude. Like he does like goats and like when a goat will like butt something, he's like cram. Oh, Samuel L. Crampton cram, right? It's like it's next level funny.
Is he the one that did that? He did that raccoon with the cats, like with the raccoon came up to the cookout.
Yeah,
he's like, "What's up, y'all? What's up?
What you got?" Yeah, he's like, oh, "That's him." Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna just dip on out of here. God bless.
All right, y'all. Yeah, that's the dude, man. I might follow him again on Instagram because it like made my day, man. When he would like put a funny video up, I'm like, oh shit, what's he got? Right? He's got like the cats like skibbity pap. It's like, it's kind of ridiculous. Anyways. All right, dude. I don't even know how long we've been on. How long we've been at it? I have no
I don't know, 30, 45 minutes, something like that.
All right. So what do you
your shot clock, man? You were supposed to have a timer.
I forget shit, man. I mean,
we had other technical issues to deal with.
Yeah. I mean, I couldn't get my shit together, man. The camera was all hosed up. So yeah, camera fucking. No. So hold on. I'm just gonna look at this real quick, man.
Yeah, I interrupted a thought you were having a minute ago, but
yeah, 297. Look, dude, I'm gonna wait. Like, this is gonna be kind of cryptic to the audience. I don't care, right? So I'm gonna wait until that gets back to. It was at 350 when I bought in.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't make any sense to buy under that. You know what I mean?
No.
So
It'll shoot back up. Just give it a day or two. Let this launch unfold, and liquidity's going to go down, supply's going to go down, price going to go up.
Have they updated the Animal Farm site to show the?
Yeah, I think it might be live now. I don't know. I hadn't checked it. Let me see if the contract's going live. Piggy bank. No, it's not. It's not live.
It's not showing, right? Yeah.
No, not yet. But like, it's getting close. Like he's on a live right now, and he'll unpause it in a minute. But I ain't because I ain't jumping in right when it goes in anyway. But
yeah. Well, I'll keep an eye on it, man. But dude, yeah, this was a lot of fun, man. You got anything else you want to talk about? We got time, man.
I mean, just in the spirit of crypto, right? Like, you know what? I'll save it for another episode, right? I was going to talk about exchanges and whatnot, but
yeah, I think we can probably hit that. So the next one, this will come out. It's Friday, so this will come out Wednesday, my Wednesday. So it'll be like Tuesday night, you guys' time, and then we'll hit another one. You know, we'll record the first and third Friday of each month. Yeah. And then the second and fourth Wednesday we'll release. So anyways, man.
Invites, man. You know, I'll be there.
Yeah, dude. I think
no notes prepared.
Like this basically like gives me something to look forward to on Friday night, right? Like, all right, dude. You know, you can't drink all those chew highs, man. You got to talk to Matt at about 11. Hey, what are we talking about tonight? You know? It's good for me.
Man. Yeah. No, it's fun, man. Like I said, I told my wife, I was like, we're doing episode 2. She was like, just dial down the cussing.
We did good tonight.
We did good.
I mean, if I dropped an F-bomb, it was intentional tonight.
That's right.
I thought about it and I was like, no, it deserves it right now.
It works.
It's like Bernie Mac used to say, right? The most versatile 2 words in the English language is motherfucker.
You motherfucker.
Yeah, right. Oh, sorry. That was loud. I watched the Ali Wong.
Oh, dude. How funny was that?
We can't repeat it here if we're gonna keep it clean, right? But dude, I was dying. I almost fell off my couch laughing at it.
Me and Des watched that, and at a certain point, I looked over at her because she was laughing a little too much. I was like, "Quit thinking about cheating on me, girl."
Do I not provide for you?
Are you not entertained?
Yeah, dude.
No, that was hilarious, man.
It was good, man. And then, so I'll recommend one for you. It's Earthquake. He's got a Netflix special too. It's a little shorter.
Is that the name of the show?
His name is Earthquake. He's a comedian. His name's Earthquake. He's a brother. He's a brother from DC. So Dave Chappelle intros him. So I guess Dave Chappelle's going to do he's going to do like a small like a 4 comedian, like underappreciated comedian type things. And he's basically going to produce 4 specials for comedians. And so I watched the Ali Wong one, and then he was on Joe Rogan, right? So Earthquake was. I was like, all right, I've never heard of the dude, right? But let me check it out. Yeah. Yo, this motherfucker, man, when he gets going, like he's talking about not to spoil it, but like, y'all don't want to take a vaccine, but y'all got 3 teeth in your mouth. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just saying, keep it keep it even, right? So anyway, just watch it. It was funny, man. So
yeah.
But all right, dog. So I'll yeah, we'll hit the next one pretty soon, man.
Yeah.
I'll have to rewatch this. I don't even know what the hell we talked about, man. That's just kind of how it goes. So I'll have to rewatch it so I can put together an intro,
I think it had a path. That's why I didn't go back into the crypto space. I veered off with Kanye and goals and dreams. Come back to crypto. It felt that the moment had passed.
You know what though, man? Like when you feel it, you gotta go down that fucking road, man.
Yeah, we ain't got no scripts. I got
zero.
I got nothing.
I mean, here's what I wrote down. Feedback from last episode, Ali Wong special, crypto, Euphoria. Have you watched Euphoria yet?
No.
Dude, I stopped. I got to be in the right. I have to be in the right frame of mind. Like, yeah. I stopped it like halfway through one of the episodes. I was like, I'm not gonna be able to sleep if I watch this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, when we usually like watch shows like on the couch after the kids have gone to bed, or maybe we'll lay in bed and watch TV, and I like it to be a be a nice it's either funny or it's dramatic or it's action packed or whatever. I don't like the uncomfortable shit because then you're looking next to each other, you're like,
this is weird. It's awkward. Yeah, I mean, it sucks. I'm here by myself, unaccompanied, man. So I'm sitting on the couch and like I turn it off and I'm like, all right, time to go to my bed, right? I'm just like, man, this feels weird. Like it's not like it's kind of scary. It's just such a serious like set of topics that it's talking about. Now it's really well made, right? Like each episode kind of stands alone with the way it's produced and stuff. But man, it's Even Trampus watched a couple episodes, man. You and Trampus were talking, right? And Trampus watched a couple episodes. He's like, dude. I was like, yeah, man. I was like, yeah, it's
I need to reach out to him. I never reached out to him, by the way, but
yeah. Good dude to know, man. Good dude to know over in Baton Rouge. That's my dude, man. When I'm back in June, man, maybe we can all link up, go down to Grand Isle, do some fishing and stuff.
Sounds good to me.
All right, brother. All right, man. Cool, man. I will talk to you later. All right, homeboy.
All right, good episode.
Yeah.
Catch you next time.
No doubt, man. Next Texan Connection out.
All right. Peace.